Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Hello,
good night.
Michelle. Oh, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hello. Hi, Diana. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Welcome. Glad to see you here again. It's always good to connect.
Yes, I'm glad to be here.
Yes. Wonderful. So glad to have you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. As you come in, if you want to unmute yourself, tell us your name. Where are you streaming in from? Let us know who you are.
Good evening. I'm Angel. I'm in Houston, Texas.
Hi, Angel from Houston, Texas, and welcome.
Thank you.
Well, anyone else? I see Michelle, you have your hands full over there, but I'd love to hear your voice.
How you doing? I'm sorry, I'm a little sick. Michelle, I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, nice. Brooklyn in the house. Okay, okay.
Yes,
I'm glad you're here.
I'm
Wonderful.
here also.
Hi, sweet baby.
Thank you, Nina.
Oh, love the baby. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Helen.
Hi, I'm Helen, and I am joining from Panama City, Panama.
Wow, welcome, welcome, Helen. Panama City. I spent some time living in Panama City for a little while in Bocas area and little pueblos around. So I love
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
You're welcome, welcome. And I see there's one person joining from their iPhone. I don't know their name. So if you want to unmute yourself, if you can, and let us know who you are and where are you calling in from? Don't know who that is on iPhone. That's one person there.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. My friend told me to be sure to tell you I mentioned her name, Malika Jadu Singh. She took your
Oh, she's
class before, and she
oh
told me to take
yes.
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you. Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank
No
you so
problem.
much.
No
Hi,
problem.
can you hear me?
Yes, I'm grateful. Thank you. I'll be sure to reach out to her. And thank you.
Hello?
Yes.
Can
Yes.
you hear?
Hi.
Can anyone hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. It's weird because I don't know, the phone was acting weird. This is Darlene from Brooklyn. Also, can you see me?
No, Darlene, we can't. We can hear you crystal clear.
Okay, I wonder why you can't see me. Let's try to figure that out. How are you? How is everyone?
I'm feeling great. How about y'all? Uh-oh, you're muted again. Let me see.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. All right. How you doing, Darlene?
Now, thank you.
Good. Great to see you. Great to see all of you. I'm so happy to see so many wonderful faces. We may have one or two people join us in about this. So people are just still getting home from work. So if you see a few people pop on, they're supposed to be here. And so I want to first thank you all so very much for looking at this mother wound thing and getting to the root of it. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to look at the things that have happened and to start to heal it within ourselves. So I want to thank you. Thank you for your trust in what we do here at Soul Tribe Heals. I'll talk a little bit about myself, but first I want to tell you thank you. And I also want to honor your spirit guides, your most elevated and evolved ancestors. And our tradition, when we start to heal ourselves, we heal 7 generations forward, meaning our children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, and also 7 generations after us. So our parents, our mother, our fathers, great grandparents, great grandparents, just by us healing ourselves. So I want to thank them for their support, your most elevated involved ancestors, your support on your healing journey. And so tonight, we're going to talk about mother wounds, and this is a master class. Why it is a master class? Because we go a little bit deeper than some the superficial thing they find reading. And I also want to give you some tools to take with you that you can start right away to start to free yourself from the mother wounds and the mother wounding energy, and how to heal yourself for the things that have been, let's say, tripping us up for a while, right? So just a few sort of announcements. Feel free to ask questions at any time. This presentation is recorded. So I know sometimes some people like to take notes. Don't worry, you'll get the presentation, so you can go ahead and take notes, or what does she have that? I really just ask that you're just present with yourself, right? Also, I just want to share that if you have any questions throughout the presentations, feel free to raise your hand. This is not a presentation where it's just me talking for an hour or so. It's about a dialogue. It's about, hey, let's look at something. Let's take it apart. Let's see what's really going on here. Let's help each other, because we're a beautiful small group, to kind of look inside of ourselves through our own lens. It can help others as well. So ask any questions that you want. I'll be sharing a little bit of my mother wounding story, just a very little bit, just to give you some context on how this topic came about. But this is your time. This is your time to just go in deep, and I'm here to help you and guide you through every step of the way. So those are just a little bit of the rules, if that's what you want to say. But let's just get started, shall we? So everyone's introduced themselves. I'm Sistah Yaya. I'm gonna talk a little bit about me in just a little bit, but let me get the presentation going. Here we go. This is me. I am the co-founder of this wonderful company called Soul Tribe Heals, and Haitian lineage. My mom's Jamaican, my dad's Haitian, and born in New Jersey. And we come from a family of like healers, priests, herbalists. It's just really strong on both sides. And so hence there's me. I am a Caribbean Indigenous Shaman. I an herbalist. I mentioned that, oracle, energy healer, and guardian of the sacred waters. Currently, right now, I live in the Yucatán of Mexico. We've been here for 2 years. But I have traveled to Panama, Brazil, Belize, and like I said, we live here in the Yucatán, in the land of the Mayas. Mucha Mayas. Everything around here is Mayan. I do host individual and group retreats, focusing on Caribbean Indigenous healing methodologies, and Mayan healing as well, especially with the womb and womb care and postpartum care. So Michelle, we do a lot of good work that helps new moms such as yourself to heal, to help to cut down postpartum depression, psychosis, and to help women to get their lives back.
I have 2 kids.
You have 2?
I feel like the second time I'm a professional at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so we do a lot of things. We do temazcal, we do plant medicine. We just help us to heal in indigenous old ways. If anyone have any family members from the Caribbean or other countries, you have those grandmothers who just did old stuff with prayers and leaves and trees and barks and songs. That's the kind of stuff I do here. So some of my work can be found in the Yucatán Times and some other places where we've been published for our healing work here in Mexico. So that's just what I do. So my mother wound issues, or the conversation of the mother wounds, came about. I became a mom at 14, and I realized that the immigration did a lot of trauma to her. So a lot of times she wasn't available. She was really disconnected from herself. But that just trickled down to me having to be a child to take care of my mom. Right, at 7 years old, cooking, cleaning, knowing a little bit too much than I should be knowing at 7 years old, and then not really being cared for, right? Because I was the responsible one. So no one looked after me, no one made sure I was safe. So there's issues of sexual assault, abuse, all kind of things just happened. And when I got older, I couldn't understand why my relationships were just always so jacked up. I couldn't understand why I couldn't connect deeply in relationships where it's like, oh man, I feel this person in my soul. I had a lot of identity confusion. I'm Jamaican and Haitian, but my mom says I need to be American and I need to be this way and that way. A lot of, being a darker one and being of Jamaican heritage, for some, it's like the darker you are, the less desirable you are. So I was darker, my body was full, I developed really quickly. And so I was always different. And I didn't fit into what was considered safe, which is you go to school, you get straight A's, you do that, you do this, you do this, you get a job, you get married, you go to college, that's it. I wanted to do different things. And so that wasn't supported. My mom was really strict. She also had a lot of mental health issues, which I wasn't aware of until I got older. And she was a single mom. She worked all the time. And so there was so many dynamics at play. And as I got older, I was trying to figure out, like, why I am the way that I am? Why do I almost borderline hate this woman for not protecting me, for not being there. And then one day Spirit said to me that I need to really sit with this energy because it was so strong. I came down with liver cancer. I had, I had liver disease. I had ovarian cancer. I had, oh my goodness, I have high blood pressure. I was borderline diabetic. All of these.
At what age?
I was just getting sick at the end of like 1 year. And that was my breaking point. And I dropped out of grad school. And that was my breaking point because something was missing. And I knew I wanted the love of my mother. But somehow the disconnect, it wasn't connecting. Somehow I couldn't get her to love me. I couldn't get her to see me, to feel me. And I felt like something was broken. And that's really started my journey of looking at this thing called a mother wound. I didn't know what it was, but realizing that relationship that I had with my mother was wounded because she's inherited something that wounded her, but it's impacting me. And little by little, I've been on a journey of repairing it within myself, which I'm going to show you some methodologies and some techniques, and also being able to view her through a lens of compassion now that I'm a parent myself and I'm getting old. I'm like, oh Lord, how did this go down? How did she do this? Because now I understand. And I also realize, another thing I realized is that this stuff is generational. I realized her mother was disconnected from her through immigration. I realized her mother couldn't be in the island, so other people had to take care of her. So she didn't know anything to give me. And so I didn't get to this conclusion first. It started with a lot of anger, with a lot of pain, with a lot of frustration. And eventually through a process, which we'll talk about, I start to understand these things. And so once I did get it, I married the love of my life. I moved to Mexico, live on the beach. I have an amazing company and I love, my health is superb. I have no ailments. I have no nothing. My money, my career, my life got so much better. And I'm like, this mother wound is a gift. Oh my, you mean I gotta get through the BS so I can get to this paradise? And I was like, oh, this is what it was about. Thank you, universe. I got it. And now I gotta tell everybody because listen, we all about to get free. So that's how this kind of came along. And so I am happy to share because everything that you're dealing with now can be healed. And I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna start talking about this, but I'm going to get to the presentation so we can talk about how you can get the power back in this master class. Okay, welcome Ms. Carter to the presentation. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to look at what are mother wounds, what are the symptoms of mother wounds, how it shows up in our lives, the benefits of healing mother wounds, the 7 types of mother-child experiences / dynamics that can occur that can cause how indigenous herbalism can help to heal mother wounds. So we got some herbs now we're going to talk about. Then we're going to talk 7 steps to healing our mother wounds. And I'm going to have some recommendations for you. And also I'm going to show you a powerful ritual. I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to have everything to bust down this mother wound so you can start to get free. But before I get started, does anyone have a question, a concern, something that they just want to say at this moment? Okay, let's go on. Okay, so what are mother wounds? What is it? You know, we hear about it, what really is going on. So mother wounds are caused by an interruption, a change, a wounding within the divine feminine energy in our lives. This is normally inherited from our blood mother in one way or another, and is normally not intentional, but sometimes it is intentional. It causes us to feel extreme pain, sadness, low self-esteem, and so many other things. We're going to talk about that. Mother wounding, this is important to know that it is purely an energetic wounding that has been passed down from our mothers, the person who mothered us. This is important because we know that energy can always be changed. I'll say that again. Energy can always be changed. This is an energetic thing. It's not anything permanent. Just because your mother, your grandmother, your great-grandmother had these things, that does not mean that it has to exist in you. I'm going to show you how you can change the energy so you can be free. Okay, so what are the benefits of healing our mother wounds? Why should we go through the shadow of our soul and replay and recapture the images and experiences? Why should we do that? The benefits are it helps you to change the way you see yourself and your life. It gives you a new perspective of who you really and truly are. It allows us to adjust to the changes of life, knowing that no matter what comes our way, because of the strength of the divine healed energy of the mother inside of us, we know that we can flow like water. It helps to improve our mental, spiritual, and physical health. And also you discover your purpose and have more life energy to do the things that you really love and that you really enjoy. We also find that increased joy, peace, tranquility, happiness comes along with healing mother wounds, better intimate relationships. A lot of times we see that which we missed out in our mother-father dynamic in our relationships with our partners and sometimes children. But this will increase your likelihood of having a happier, intimate relationship with someone that you don't want to be in a relationship with at this time. It's also great for improved creativity and personal success, improved self-esteem, and of course, finances. Excellent for finances. Okay, and looking at mother wounds, we want to sometimes identify symptoms because sometimes people are not aware, like, okay, I know this feels like a symptom to me, but there are many other ways mother wound or unhealed mother wound energy can show up in your life. Sometimes feeling like maybe something is wrong with you. Something is missing, or you just can't get it right, or why me? Why does this stuff keep happening? Something is just fundamentally broken with me. Feeling like your potential out of fear of failure, feel of not being good enough. Like you may have an idea or a business you want to start, something you want to do, but you're like, you know what, I don't think I can do it. You know, everyone else says I'm brilliant, but I just don't feel it for myself. Having weak boundaries. Boundaries are so important. We're going to talk about them later. Weak boundaries, just letting everybody come in and take or say whatever they want to say to you in your intimate relationships or in a job. Just having poor boundaries is a sign of mother wounds, and also an uncertain sense of self, like who you are, what you've come to accomplish, what you're about. If that's not clear to you, there may be some mother wounding energy just sitting in the way between that. Not feeling worthy. Now, I tell a lot of people who want to do abundance work, ritual work with me, abundance comes in places and spaces where it's welcome, where it feels worthy. And sometimes if we don't feel worthy to receive love, we don't feel worthy to receive money or support or help, we're out here grinding, doing the best that we can, and won't allow ourselves to feel worthy to receive, then abundance and the help and the desires that we want to accomplish and have in our lives can't come to us. Not feeling worthy is one of the biggest signs of a mother wound that I see in most of my work. Other signs include self-sabotage. When you get close to a breakthrough, you're about to get that job, you're about to get it, and all of a sudden your mind starts saying, I ain't gonna get that house. They're not gonna approve me for that loan. What was I thinking to even try to apply for that job? That's part of a mother wound. It's not your fault. It's something that's been inherited. Also, trying not to rock the boat. When you know something ain't right, but you still want to kind of just keep the waters calm and still just kind of appease, it's going to be okay, not wanting to rock the boat. You come here to rock the boat. You've come here to tear all of this up. And not wanting to, out of fear of maybe rejection or retaliation, could be a sign of a mother wound. Also, unconsciously waiting on your mother's approval or permission before reclaiming your life, before moving forward, kind of like waiting for permission. Should I take this job? Should I move to this state? Should I move out the country? I don't know. You kind of need somebody to say, go ahead and do it. I got you. I believe in you. And so sometimes we have to rely on that to make big changes for ourselves. Could be a mother wound there too. Also, we see that fear of failure and death is another indication, because our mothers teach us that energy never dies, it only transforms, right? It also teaches that life is all about failures and learning, but fear of failing because of maybe the repercussions or how you might be viewed and things like that can come because of an unhealed mother wound that could be existing, that doesn't give you the confidence and strength to know that hey, these things are going to come. Let me just sit here and enjoy my life and just live it out to the fullest. So some of these are intertwined. Some of these kind of sit separately. But these all show up whenever there is a mother wound. And I just listed just those, but there is a list of probably like 40 or 50 ways it shows up. But the most common ways are the ones I just listed. All right. Any questions up until this point, or any comments up until this point? Yes, please, Miss Darlene, you can unmute yourself.
Hear me now?
I can hear you. Yep.
Just about everything that you mentioned, I can completely identify with. I mean, I really felt like you were speaking directly to me with so many of those issues that have me in a place where I feel stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more of what you have to say.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And it's interesting you mentioned, I'm going to get to you in just a second, Helen. I see your hand. Thank you. That stagnancy, all that is just an energetic block. That's all. We find that sometimes in our ceremonies that we do, it is necessary that, and I want you to just to consider this, it is necessary that we do some cord cutting from our mother. And what we mean by cord cutting, of course, we can't disconnect from her because we're half of her, but cut the parts, the lower vibrational parts that's causing the blockage, that's to be imbalanced in our lives. You do cord cutting on your family members. You can do it on your mother womb, because what it does is it clears out the connections that the energy is still pumping into your auric field, and that's draining your power. It clears that up for you. So that's something that we don't cover in this course, another workshop, but you can start to think about that. And everyone, while you're listening, start to think about what is it you want to cut? Like, you're going to keep the love, of course, but I don't like the deceit. I don't like the narcissism. I don't like the gaslighting. And you can go in and cut yourself or get somebody to do it for you. So just wanted to mention that. Thank you. Unmute yourself.
Okay, it's freezing up every once in a while. So yeah, there was like a little delay there's just there. But I was basically going to say the exact same thing that the First Lady shared, which is telling me it's going to lower my hand. So many of those things I could relate to on the list. And before I heard about this course, I had never even heard the term mother wound. I didn't even know what it was. And a friend told us about this workshop. She's going to be joining in a little bit. But I was like, oh, what is that? And so I've been doing some, healing work anyway. And when I heard about it, I was like, let me just look it up. So I just looked up, what is mother wound? I was like, oh, that sounds like me. I need to do this.
Yes.
So thank you.
Awesome.
I love your energy also. Very enthusiastic. So I already feel like this is going to be good.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for joining. If it's okay, I'll repeat the last thing that I said so that everybody can catch it. Okay. So thank you for letting me know that. And then anytime it gets that way, because I'm hearing sometimes it may delay, just put it in the chat and say, yeah, can you say that again? Because I want you to get everything. So I was sharing that you can start to do some cord cutting from the lower vibrational connections that you have with your mother. Of course, we can't cut the relationship, but her gaslighting, her lying, her manipulation, all of the things that no longer serve you, you can go ahead and cut that. You can also cut it with, this is another level, another workshop. I'm just dropping this note on the ancestral level as well, because sometimes we have ancestors like grandmothers or great aunties who, when they were here, they had that energy that was very harmful towards us, right? You can cut that too. You can cut anything that no longer serves you, because remember, you were born as an autonomous, a free being of light. Our mothers were only the vehicles for us to get here. We don't owe them anything. We're not indebted to them in any way, although they may make us feel, and culture may make us feel that we are, but we're not. We was born by ourselves. we're going to leave here by ourselves. We are in control of our own destiny. And these are some types of things that, you know, I had to meditate on because, you know, Caribbean culture is really strong, right? And say, no, this is my energy. This is my life. And it took me many years working on separating my energy from my mother's energy. And that's another thing we're going to talk about as well, because we do as children inherit, and Diane, I see your hand. We do inherit the emotional bodies of our mothers. If she was one way, we're going to inherit that. She gives us the template emotionally on how to be. She teaches us how to see the world from her perspective, how to see ourselves through her perspective, how to see our relationship through her perspective. And if that perspective is jacked up, if it's wounded, if it's traumatized, that is what we have. But the beautiful thing is we can change it. We can reclaim our own energy by working with some tools I'm going to give you. So, okay, Mom, I'm going to give that back to you. That's you. That's your life. And this is going to be mine. And I am going to rewrite how I want to live this life. I get you like to be beat up by men. I get that. You like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to cut the relationship to reflect you. I want my relationship to reflect my highest good. Okay, Diana, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you all for your comments. Yes, Diana, thank you for your patience.
Okay. So you mentioned the cord cutting, and right away I was like, you know, I've done the cord cutting several times, and I feel like, are there layers to it? Now, with my mother rooms, they go deep, and I have done so many things over the years. And there was a time when I didn't talk to her for, it was like 8 years. And so then it was like, then when I did let her back in my life, it was like these things started again. And so my question is kind of like, is it that sometimes we need someone else to assist us with the cord cutting? Because like I said, I've done it several times, and maybe I'm not doing it on that level that I need to.
Right.
So just wanted to see what you would have to say to that.
Okay, great question. So consider cords, especially the one with our mother, which is the strongest cord we have. Consider like a rope, right? So you may take that rope and you may have a, let's say a knife, and you may strike it. Some of the cords are going to fray, but that rope may still be like still strong. You may have to keep going at it over and over. I will say this, having someone to do it for you who really knows what they're doing is the best way. Sometimes we just need people to hold that space for us because they can see and feel more deeper in that process than we can, because we're actually like in it, if that makes any sense. So someone on the outside who's seasoned can help you way better, because all you have to do is just focus on being and allowing, not actually doing the ritual itself. So I do recommend, I know you're going to be coming here soon, Diana, and we do cover cord cutting. I recommend you get someone to do it. I recommend someone who is specialized in this to give you some post-care as well, and ways how to maintain what you've come to claim, because not just the cutting, but it's also, okay, the post plan, the integration plan, so we don't reattach again to places that we've cut. And sometimes energetically we can reattach and we're not aware of it. And so we need help and support. I know I needed help and support. And once I came to Mexico, it was so easy. It was a lot more easier to do it here than in the States. That's a whole nother conversation, but it was a lot easier to get the help that I needed here. So y'all all invited, by the way. Come to Mexico when you're ready. All right. So if there are no more questions, I am going to talk a little bit about a few of 7 types of the mother-child experiences, because sometimes when we can see how the dynamic plays out, we can see how we've been impacted greatly from this experience. So let's talk a little bit about the 7 ones and what they look like, how they show up, and how they've impacted us. Because a lot of times we blame ourselves for stuff. It don't even be our stuff, y'all. It'd be like other people's stuff that we've inherited, but we put it on ourselves. We don't have to do that. So looking at the overbearing mother, this is one, oh Lord, this one makes you feel obligated to help her with all her personal stuff, figure out all her ish with her relationships. This also goes with the enmeshed mother, when she puts too much on the younger child before the child has the capacity to really understand. This mother has no respect. The fact that you're an adult, she just want to be like, okay, this is how it's going to go. This is what you need to do. It makes you feel bad about it. She interferes with your personal relationships, maybe intimate, maybe with your children. if you have them. She has opinion about everything you do. She just got to say something. And she often will put you down by comparing you to other people. Why can't you be like your sister? Well, you know, so-and-so child, this, and that. Look, anybody ask about none of that. None of that. So the overbearing mother, she does not have boundaries. She lacks boundaries. So therefore, that's what she gives us as a gift, is violating our boundaries, because she lets everyone violate hers. And so she violates others, including ours. And if she sees a lot of herself in you, sometimes it could be worse. We're going to talk about that type of mothering and what how that can show up. How does this impact you? How does it show up in your life? Because we need to identify where is the stuff coming from that we're experiencing, right? Hard time making decisions. Feel like you have to check in and ask again. Looking for approval, maybe not from her, but if you're at your job and in your relationships, you want to be chosen. You want to be approved of before you do anything. This also takes away your autonomy and your independence, your freedom, your emotional freedom to kind of do the things that you want, because it's always that thread of that overbearing mother, like, what you doing? You should do it this way. Why is it that way? It's always like that program. I know everybody got a cell phone, right? If you have a cell phone and your phone is acting slow and it's not like connecting and the calls are dropping, you go into your apps and you see you got like 30 apps open, running, taking up all of your energy. That's the same way the mother wound works. The mother wound is like an act that keeps running in the background, taking your power, distilling your decisions, distilling your energy. You got to go through that phone, delete, turn off. But that voice and that energy sometimes is always there. Sometimes we're not aware of it. So once we start to heal the mother wounds, it turns off those apps, or at least turn the volume or how much that it consumes of your energy more and more and more, so that you can start to know yourself and to know your own power. So sometimes when we find that we're afraid to speak and express ourselves, fear of being our true self, lacking self-knowledge, because the overbearing mother, she's like, no, you're going to do it my way. It's going to be like this. So where does the true Diana show up? Where does the true Michelle show up? Where is she in all of this? Sometimes that can lead you to feeling lost, uncertain. And like I mentioned before, when those overbearing mothers or those nosy mothers are like that, she gives us actually her emotional body. So we never really get the chance to fully develop our own emotions. How do I really feel about this? What do I really want to take away from, not what you're saying, but how do I feel about this? And this is very important, especially for women. Our feelings are very, very important. And so sometimes when our mothers are overbearing, it takes away that right to know how to feel, right? And this can also impact your intimate relationships, because you by proxy can be like your mother to your husband or to your wife in a way, because you have her emotional body. That's why being free from mother wounds is very, very important, because it can really steal your joy. And as much as we don't want to be like our mothers, we can become like her. Now, let's get to the jealous mama. Yes, I had this one. Lord have mercy. I had this one, and she just tried to sabotage everything I tried to do, everything. And to me, this is one of the most hurtful things. But the mom that just want to steal your spotlight. You know, you coming up, you doing this, you starting your business, you getting your, you feeling good, and it's about her. She gonna sabotage, she gonna say something, and do it publicly. This one talks behind your back. This one is never proud of your success. No matter what you've done, is never good enough. She may even start changing her appearance to dress like you, to fix it. If you get a new hairstyle, she might get a new hairstyle or do something different. If you buy a house, she might get a car. You know, there's always this little comparison thing going on. And she's always going to find a way to criticize. Always. Not out of to improve, but to say, you know what? Nah, she can't shine because that's me. A lot of times these mothers have dreams that have been unfulfilled. So they see you doing it, right? And it reflects back to them like, man, subconsciously, man, I wish I could do that. Like my mom, she was a model, right? But then she has children, so she couldn't model no more. Then I started modeling. When I started modeling, oh, then she was just like not supportive. She had things to say and this and that, or this or that, or not come to my events, different things like that, because she wasn't able to complete her cycle or what she felt that she wanted to complete during her process. Or, you know, once my business started picking up, she would start to do little things. So it can show up in a variety of different ways, this jealous mother, but she's very common. Very, very, very common. Don't let nobody lie to you. So the impact of this mother is that we tend to play small because we don't want that wrath on us. We don't want to deal with it. We just pretend like, you know what, I'm just gonna have my little light over here because again, don't want to rock the boat. We feel unworthy to receive because when we do receive things, you know, well, you want your mom to be happy for you, right? And she's not. She's the opposite. So that sends an energetic message that you're not worthy to receive anything good. If you do good, it should be sabotaged or someone should be jealous. You can't really fully enjoy it. A sense of a wrongness. You know, sometimes she makes you feel like you're wrong, you're bad for being happy or being joyful. Very much unsupported and feeling lonely. Unlovable, low self-esteem, low self-confidence. And you may find yourself comparing yourself to others. As your mother compared herself to you, you may pick up that energy of just comparison with other people. And you're probably wondering, like, where is this coming from? Like, why do I feel this way? It could be the energy that your mother projected on you. Any questions up until this point? And welcome, someone else just joined us. Welcome, welcome. Yes, please. Yeah, unmute yourself and chat. I think 2 people had a comment.
Okay. I was wondering if that is common when the mom is younger. Because in the little first slide in the photo, it looked like the mom and the daughter were almost close in age, you know? Like it looked like a younger woman. Maybe she had the child when she was a teenager or something like that. I wondered if that comes into play.
Good question. Actually, that was like the cutest little jealousy picture I could find. So I'll put it in there.
Oh, okay.
I ain't gonna say no lie. But that's a good question because the research shows that this is generally like when the daughter's getting into like her fullness of life, maybe in her mid-20s, where she has the most energy, and the mother's probably entering to more maybe like premenopausal stage where her body's slowing down and things like that. So the research says that that's generally within that dynamic when it shows up. But the picture shows up because that's the cutest one I could find for this presentation. Yes, thank you. Okay, Darlene, you had a question.
Really a question, but I'm sorry. I'm just taking in everything that you're saying, and I'm just like, oh, again, this is me. My mother, jealousy. But when I was full, I was, you know, always.
Excuse me, Darlene, I apologize, but it sounds like your audio is breaking up. Is that anyone else is hearing her audio? You too, Helen? Okay. Yeah, and I want to be able to hear everything that you're saying very clearly. So if you don't mind repeating again for us, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I could identify with the mother that was jealous, but she was also competing. There was a level of competition. But earlier on, one thing that I'm healing from, and I was silenced very young. So often I was always quiet in circles because I didn't feel like anyone, like I valued my opinion. And I'm feeling now, even when I was in school, my mother actually brought duct tape to school and had the teacher tape my mouth shut because, you know, in report cards, they would say she talks too much.
Wow.
So I'm just feeling like now I'm starting to get my voice back. So it's really interesting, just building up the confidence to, you know, believe that my voice is important.
Yes.
So you're definitely speaking to me in so many ways.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Thank you. And for women or all people, the voice is very important because that is what we used to create. So, Darlene, not knowing anything of your circumstance, and I'm just going off of intuition, and this can apply to any of us. When our voice is silent, we find that we have issues with our root chakra as well. So it may be intimate partner relationships, money, work, housing, like stable housing, things like that. because this and our root chakras are connected, right? And so I'm grateful for you sharing that, Darlene, because that's a very important point. And if you find it in yourself, Darlene, something that might be helpful, I don't know if you sing, you should start singing. Don't matter what your voice sounds like or how you think your voice sounds. Sing, because when you sing, you pray twice. When you sing, it goes deeper, it goes to the angels, right? So no, we're not just gonna talk, we're gonna sing this out. We're gonna dance it out. And that's another way to start to feed your throat chakra. That's another way to nourish yourself, because also song carries a vibration, a frequency of healing. And so that might be something for you to consider. Don't matter if you sing the best, we're not in that world. We're in a world of energy and frequency. So singing, record your voice. This is going to be for you, Darlene, and anyone else. Record your voice on the phone and listen to it. I want you to fall in love with your voice. Oh, I just love when I say this word. Oh, I just love this. I want you to, yes.
I mean,
there you go. Okay.
What's in the house and in the shower and so forth. But one thing that people have told me over the years is that I have a great speaking voice. And whenever I would record and listen, it to me, I thought it sounded horrible. But I think that all stems from being silenced. Like, I can't hear the beauty in my words or how I speak the way others do. But so you just made me think of that as well.
Wow. Yes, yes. So I encourage you to explore that more. Just knowing that feeling is a wounding. It's not who you are. But it's okay to be in this state, obviously. But it's just a wounding, but you must speak as often. And in fact, that might be your gift. That might be the thing that makes you a millionaire, is your speaking voice. Because normally the major thing that we struggle with in the mother wound, once we're able to overcome it, it's like an intersection of like the mother wound and the fear. And that point where it meets is usually where your biggest breakthrough is. So where the deepest fear is, meet it. What's going to happen? It ain't going to kill you. Meet it. You need help? Come to Mexico. Meet it to get your breakthrough. But usually where the deepest pain is where your sweet pot is. 99.99% of the time, that's where it's at. So use your voice if you feel like that's one of the things you need to use it. Set your phone, set an alarm, even if it's 30 seconds a day, twice a day, because it's just, that's how you start to, like Diana was saying, when you start to cut the cords, these are some of the exercises to keep cutting every day. Sing, talk, listen to it. That's how you keep that cord cut. Yes. Any other questions or comments or thoughts? And people who joined us, hello, welcome. I want to make sure everyone has their questions and their thoughts addressed, because it's very important that we see these things and say, hey, okay, this is what we can start to do. It's all about your freedom, baby. All about your freedom. All right. How many of us know about this critical judgmental mother? Lord have mercy. This one here. This one, she ain't gonna give you no compliments. She ain't gonna give you no praise. She ain't gonna say you did a good job. She ain't gonna say your hair look nice, your makeup cute, your dress is cute. She ain't gonna say none of that. She sometimes embarrasses us in front of our family, our friends, others. No matter what you do or what you say is never good enough. You just can't bake that cake enough, that you can't clean your house enough. There's always something. Sometimes she negatively comments about our parents, our bodies, our relationship, our children, where we live, what we choose to study, what we eat. Everything is like a center of her criticism. She's never happy with anything you do. Never, never. It's almost it could have been done better. I mean, you could have passed an exam, straight A's. So it's going to be something that you didn't do. This is going to be the critical mother. It's because she does not feel good within herself. She does not feel safe within herself. So she projects that onto us. But it's a projection. It's not a truth. But it does have an impact. No doubt. This was my mother. Low self-esteem and low confidence. Self-sabotage, mucho anxiety, nervousness, if you're going to be good enough, this, you just have so much anxiety. The imposter syndrome. Y'all know about the imposter syndrome? Everybody knows about that. Just for those who don't, imposter syndrome is that you're super amazing at what you do. You are the best, but sometimes you feel like you are just not good enough. You're not. And your friends, your family tell you, oh, well, maybe not your family, but your friends, your colleagues may say that, oh, you're the best at this and that, but you just can't embody it. You can't embody it. Sometimes you grow to be discontent with yourself, discontent with everything. Like your mom was discontent. Nothing made her happy. She was never content. So you become discontent, a little irritable with everything, including yourself. Not feeling proud of yourself after an accomplishment or an achievement or just because. And sometimes that can leave you feeling stuck. Like you can't move forward, you can't move backward because you're hearing that program or that criticism, you're not gonna be good enough, or this ain't right, this don't look right, you gotta change this, it's always playing, it's always playing. It's a tape, it's a program. We can shut that program down. We can delete it from our phone, from our system, and so we can be free. But that critical mother is a major one. Then we have the mother that is emotionally absent, physical in the body, but checked out. We don't know where she at, but she ain't here. This mother is quite dismissive or overwhelmed. If you have an emotional need, you might be having a bad day, or it might be the first time you had your menstrual cycle. You don't know what's going on. You want to talk to her with your mother. She is just not able to be present with you and feel you and connect with you. She's not interested in anything that you do in your life, probably never has been. So including like what you like to do, music, what's your favorite food, places you like to go, none of that matters. None of it. She's unable or unwilling to really provide comfort during emotional stress, such as a breakup, or maybe you had an accident, or maybe you were sexually abused or traumatized. And she's like, just get over it. Or she doesn't say anything. Or she doesn't comfort. She doesn't support you in any type of ways, or just having a baby. She's just not there. She often responded to your emotional needs with impatience or indifference, just not, again, checking out. And often you may have noticed her having difficulty expressing her feelings in relationship to other people, her own family members, people around her, just really expressing deeply how she feels. This is the emotionally absent mother. Generally, this mother shows up often very stressed. A lot of single mothers, no judgment. None of this is judgment. None of this judgment can embody this because there's so much that's going on, so much she has to deal with. She doesn't have the capacity to really hold space for her children. The impacts that it have on us does, because it definitely has an impact when mama's physically here, but emotionally she's somewhere else. We may find that it's hard to identify with our own emotional, physical, and spiritual needs. Like sometimes people used to say, like, what do you need in this moment? And sometimes it's like, I don't know, but I know I'm hurting. Or I don't know, but I know this doesn't feel good. Sometimes we can't identify their needs because we've never been taught how to identify what our needs are. And when our needs did show up, they weren't identified by someone else who could see us, such as our mother. We find it difficult sometimes to connect with others whom we love. Again, we learned the pattern of connection to ourselves and to the world from our mother. So if she didn't connect to us deeply in love, how are we going to learn to do this? Some of us in our parenting, we may find, like I'm a doula as well, some moms have a hard time connecting with their children. And if you research a little bit, you'll find that that mother didn't have her mother to deeply connect with. So she's feeling it with her child, naturally so, and it's not her fault. It's an energy. You may find also in some ways you neglect yourself. Now, I'm not just talking about not eating. I'm talking about you might be tired as hell. Excuse my language, Michelle. I know you got the children and everybody else. You might be tired, but you still keep going. You might be really needing something, but you put others before yourself. You might really need a vacation, but you won't take that time off. These are ways that we neglect ourselves because our mothers neglected the needs. Some of our needs are different than others. Some people have a need to have certain things that maybe you may have a physical need of a massage every 2 weeks, but you may not see that as a need because, oh, that's nothing. Yeah, my body hurts, but that's nothing. I don't massage are just for like, that's extra. No, that may be a need for you. You may have a need for things that are outside of the ordinary to sustain your energy. And sometimes we neglect that because we don't see it as important. We may often feel unsafe in relationships, unsafe where we live, unsafe, just a general feel, just unsafeness, if that's a word. You may find it difficult voicing your feelings, like Darlene so beautifully shared with us, have a difficult time voicing your feelings because guess what? When you voiced it, nobody was there to listen. It didn't matter because my mother was checked out. Also, you may feel angry and frustrated in relationships because you really, on a very compassionate level, you really don't know how to express what your needs are. You know they exist and needs have to be met. And sometimes when we feel angry, Anger is a great teacher because anger teaches us that there's a boundary that's been violated. Whenever you're angry, it's not a bad thing. Look around and say, where do I feel violated? Am I overgiving in this situation? Am I not honoring myself in this situation? Am I rushing this thing? When you just feel like an anger come up, feel like it's nowhere, find out where energetically on the inside, a boundary, emotional boundary, physical boundary, or even a spiritual boundary that has been violated. And I'll pause right here to see if anybody has any questions or thoughts or comments. Diana, please. Yes.
So all of the things so far, my mom has all of them. Like we have that issue. And when you mentioned before this slide, the emotional, not being emotional available, like this, she didn't tell me about my menstrual cycle. And so, and I don't know if it's the Aries in me, but I've always been strong-willed, even though as a child I was hushed and I didn't say anything, but I thought the things and I just wouldn't voice them. And so when I got my menstrual cycle, guys, I didn't tell her. And when she found out, she went off on me. And it was just crazy. It's like, how could you do that? When you didn't tell me, I didn't know I was supposed to come to you. That was my response. I found out through friends what to do. And that's just, I'm so thankful for this because you're hitting these things and it's just like so on point for me because even till this day, she's not emotionally available. And when I get to that place where I'm trying to talk and help her, help me and all that, she just checks out. And it's just so sad. But I am starting to overcome and see and realize, what she had to deal with and why she's the way she is. But I just had to speak on that because I'm like, oh my gosh. And to this day, like she'll just assume, oh, I didn't tell you that. I just assumed you knew. And it's like, wait, how do you assume I know something that you didn't teach me?
Right.
So anyway, it's like I just had to share that because you hit that chord. It made me remember that issue.
Right. Wow. That's beautiful. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And Diana, how has that emotional unavailability or any of the things we talked about, how has that impacted your relationship with your children now? And what ways do you see it show up? What ways do you navigate that?
Um, so I've done a lot of research and found the narcissistic. My mom's she's full-blown narcissist. And so when I started having children, well, my firstborn was when I was 20. And so she was very heavily in my life at that time, telling me how to do this and how to do that. And so how it's impacted me right now, my oldest daughter and I aren't speaking. Like my oldest daughter is also very narcissistic, and I helped her, bring my grandson into this world, and she won't let me see him right now. Like it's impacted in a big way because, even my youngest daughter is her golden child. See, like I've learned, so I know the different. I'm the black sheep, and and so my youngest daughter is her golden child, the only one that she really keeps up with out of all her grandchildren, and she's made it very known, even in her will and things like that, that she's the one, and that's also affected our relationship because they don't see me as fully being what's the word, credible maybe, or knowledgeable because grandma said blah blah blah, and and it's like, but I'm your mother, like why would you think that these things? But I didn't realize until I got older how much she was impacting her things, her projections, all of that. When I realized it and I started trying to let them know, hey, I just want you to know what's happening here. It was almost like, I mean, I don't feel like it's too late for anything, but at this time, like I said, there's issues with my oldest daughter, there's little bit of issues with my youngest daughter. And it's mainly because of their judgments, their judgment. Because I mean, as their mother, I tried my best and I feel like I did really good to not repeat that. I was very open, like as they were growing up, I gave them information on the level that I felt like they could handle it. Like I was I did I did the best I could to be totally opposite, and I was
Right.
totally emotionally connected. So I think it almost even too much sometimes. I was connected with them and making sure they felt my love and you know so I did my best to do better. However, the generations of this is still, it's like it skipped a generation because now I'm watching my children kind of be narky to their children. And it's like,
Mm,
don't do that. You're hurting, and it
yeah.
hurts me. And I'm like, you're hurting them. Like, you don't understand, like, what this impact is doing to your children, like with my older daughter. Me and my Elias, I say my Elias, she's got 3 boys. I love them all very dearly, but Elias I helped bring in and come in Earthside. And so there's a special connection we've always had. And now I miss him terribly because I haven't seen him. So yeah. And
Wow.
that's hurting him because he loves his grandma. He misses me
Yes.
too. So it's just, I'm so glad that you're doing this because I do want to help heal them down there, my 7 generations down, my grandchildren. So yeah, that's how I feel like it's impacted. And all I can do is just I say all I can do. I'm doing all I can and I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep doing it until I overcome. And that's something that's always been in me. And that's something my mother does not like about me. So,
Mm. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
sure.
because this
Thank
this
you.
you're welcome. This energy is generational, right? And like you said, it can and can skip. The ritual I'm going to show you, and Diana, everyone is going to help your grandchildren, you're going to see immediate difference, and you don't have to do what? You ain't got to say a word. You ain't got to say, you're going to see a difference. You're going to be like, what? You ain't got to say nothing. But the main person is going to help is you. So I'm excited to get to that portion of it and answer all the questions about that ritual. I have tons of testimonials on my page and my Instagram of people who do it. I do it all the time. I'm like, look, y'all, look at my work. I'm still doing this process. So I'm gonna share that with y'all. Forgive me. Is it Pia Das? Pia Das? Hopefully I'm not saying it wrong. Forgive me. Just correct me. I'll take it. Welcome.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, it's Pia. I'm sorry I was late. I had an appointment, so I got here as quickly as possible, but I'm loving it so far. Everything you're saying is resonating 100%. Some of also the stories that I'm hearing from the other women connect with you too and really feel it. And so I'm glad you're doing this work. And I've kind of been on this healing journey for a long time. And recently, over the last year, I've come across the mother wound, and it's shown up through my relationships, honestly. And I've been like, why do I keep repeating these patterns? And that's kind of where I realized that there were these things, I guess, that I had repressed. And I think the archetypes that you're going through, my question was, and I think someone answered it, was like, could it be more than one of the things? Because I'm seeing more than one thing here, and it seems like some of them overlap. So yeah, this is incredible. I'm looking forward to hearing about the ritual.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Pia, for joining us and sharing. And yes, they can all overlap. This can be all your mama and all of mama. Absolutely. Absolutely. Generally, we wanted to break it down to archetypes so people can fill in more to, okay, my mom was kind of like this. Oh, this is why I neglect myself. Oh, this is why my relationships are like this. But yes, they overlap. They show up. Some go to the background, and they are layered. They are definitely layered. So absolutely. And yes, I'm excited to show you the ritual as well, because it's going to help you to really get free and to stop those patterns that you're seeing in your relationships.
Thank you.
I'm excited. Thank you. Absolutely. All right. Someone else had a question. Let me see here. Someone else raised their hand. Pardon me. Oh, Helen. Yes, please.
Well, I wanted to thank Pia because she's the reason that I'm here. She's the one that invited me. So, but yeah, this one definitely resonates. The first two mother types, it didn't quite relate, but this one definitely did. And yeah, so it's making a whole lot of sense. I never thought about the part about finding it difficult to connect with those you love, but just what you were talking about is like, maybe that is a part of, because I've had relationship, you know, I haven't had the best track record with marriages. But I think the biggest impact it had on me was that I definitely have had difficulty voicing my feelings, not feeling safe. Big one, very big one. But I think the biggest impact it had on me was that I never wanted to have a kid. I don't have any children. So I'm hoping in some way, maybe that's cutting the cord for the, you know, there's not going to be another generation from me anyway to carry this forward. But I definitely could see how my mom could have carried this wound from her mother, who was unavailable physically because her mom died when she was like, I think 13.
Wow.
And so, and then she was definitely unavailable. She was struggling with alcoholism at different points in her life. So she was unavailable in an emotional way. Not, I don't think intentionally. I never thought it was intentional, but it definitely, I can see now how it was a form of neglect, you know, because I definitely never felt comfortable when I forgot who was it that said, maybe Michelle, whoever said that their mom never told them about their period. It's like, yeah, I didn't learn about any of that. I learned it from my older sisters a little bit, but I didn't learn it from my mom. I never felt comfortable going to my mom with anything that, you know, traditionally moms help you with.
Right.
So yeah. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's powerful. It's quite interesting because now two people mentioned about that menstrual cycle. And that was my process too. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, what is this? But that's kind of like a rite of passage. In a lot of cultures, there is some type of ceremony, celebration, education that happens because in our lives, that transition us from, okay, we're no longer like of an age group. Now we're of another. And that's a critical time in our lives. And a lot of our mothers miss that. And sometimes they made it worse. And so we also can acknowledge that as well as being a trauma that we've received and how that impacts us. So these are little, they might seem like little things, but these are really important things. So much so that most indigenous cultures have a ceremony or a ritual to support the woman going through the process. That's how important they see it because it is very important. So I don't want to minimize that and all these processes that we go through like it's just nothing because it is something major. So thank you so much for sharing your stories and your thoughts. I want to make sure I got everybody up until this point. Did Michelle want to say something? I saw her hand raised. Michelle, was your hand raised, my love?
Yes.
Yes, please.
All right. So for me, I'm West Indian also. My mother, where my family, because my father was also from there. They're from Guyana.
Mm-hmm.
So the other ones, sorry, I told you I'm sick, so excuse me. I have like such a bad headache. I'm
That's
hot.
okay.
So excuse me. Um the other examples that you put up didn't relate to me, but the emotionally detached definitely did. And I feel like that is such like a West Indian thing. I find like because it was also kids should be seen and not heard.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like so many West Indian kids and parents um say the same thing. My mother, when it came to me having my period, good thing I had it like I guess late at 11. I already learned about it in school
Mm.
because my mother didn't tell me about it either.
Mm.
So my older daughter, she's 9. So I have a 9-year-old and a 1-year-old. And she
Wow.
recently had hers. And I was putting off telling her about it. But my cousin, they was like, you ain't tell her yet? You ain't tell her yet? I'm like, you know what? Let me say something. And a couple months before she had her periods when we spoke about it.
Wow.
Yeah, so but the thing is, when she have a period, she tell me I get the heating pad, I let her take her little
Mm-hmm.
baths, as in some Epsom salt, like kind of like a whole pamper situation,
Wow.
whatever she want, and her grandmother, her father's mother, is really involved in her life, and she wants to do like a little period party for her. So I'm like, I think that's cute because to me, 9 is so young. Like I was not expecting her. I'm like, I got a couple more years. I could wait, but I'm kind of happy that I said something because I know that something like that has to be shocking. And then stop. And then sorry, like also with my mother, she was, I said, emotionally unavailable. She had two kids. She had my sister, which is 8 years older than me, and myself. And she always favored my sister because I was the black sheep.
Mm.
So I was always about what I wanted to do, what I wanted to say. So I was like, I was rebelling all the time because to me, it just felt right to do what I wanted to do and say what I wanted to say. So I was always in trouble, but I didn't care because I felt like it was the right thing to do. And then, I moved out, my mother, she now, we get along so well. She
Mm.
loves her grandkids, I can't put nothing past her. Um, she's not, she hasn't changed 100%,
Mhm.
but she's, very different with them. So I love that. But I know that there were a lot of things that I went through when I was younger, but I feel like I was so nonchalant about it when I was younger that it didn't bother me the way that it probably could have.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cause
Wow.
I'm different with because I'm like almost the opposite with my kids. They talk to me. Well, the baby ain't really saying much, but you know, my kids, they talk to me. I give them, this is your place, this is your space, and I'm never trying to make you uncomfortable. I don't like people that's miserable and nitpicky. Like, I'm really not one of those mothers either. Like,
Mhm.
even if you don't do something, I'll give you 1,001 chances until I yell. So
Right.
when I yell, you filled your cup. But I'm patient. I don't hit my kids, nothing. But I do
Wow.
yell when I get upset.
Yes. That's
Thank
that's
you.
beautiful. Thank you. And I love how you're saying, even not knowing from about your menstrual cycle, but learning in school, but making sure just intuitively you're talking to your 9-year-old, and then like a couple months later it shows up.
Oh my God, that was the universe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like that's beautiful, and that's breaking that, in the bloodline, because you did one thing. I'm sure you have out of many things different, and you
Yeah,
continue to do it, and so it continues to get better and better and better. So we're going to talk more about this, but I'm glad to hear your story and how you
thank
just
you.
you just stood on it.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And I'm happy, like you said, like you're happy that you went through that. I'm happy too because it was years. My sister, we just started talking about 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm in my 30s. She's in her 40s. She
Right.
hated me. And I know I was a little aggressive. I used to fight. I'm a fighter, right? But if you don't bother me, I'm not gonna beat you up. So you was bothering me. So we in a space where we get along. We talk every day. Me and my mother talk every day. I love it.
That's beautiful.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on being on the other side of the mother womb. And so that's
Thank
the
you.
stories I want to talk about too, because there is another side to all of this stuff we talking about. So Michelle, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Um, Isha Carter. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi. I hope the lighting's okay because
Oh,
it's
I
terrible
don't,
where I'm at.
I don't see you. I did see you for a
Oh, you
second in
don't?
the
Oh,
flash call. Okay,
can
there
you
you
see
go.
now? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So I resonate with a lot, but I wanted to ask if you could elaborate a little more on how the mom being um, not emotionally available, how that affects you feeling unsafe. Because I've gone through that my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kept me from stepping forward into my purpose. It's kept me from pushing myself into my business because I didn't feel safe or was scared or really bad anxiety. So I would
Yes.
always stay hidden and not become extremely private, where it's too extreme because I always feel like I'm going to be violated. So
Mm.
I
Okay.
want to know
Okay.
how that them being unemotionally available to you.
Right.
I don't know how to really say it, but if you can elaborate it a little bit more so I can
Sure.
get a better understanding.
Absolutely. And I'm so grateful you asked that question. Thank you so much for being on the call. So our mothers teach us boundaries. They teach us what's good for us energetically and also like physically, like what's good for us and what our boundaries are. When our mothers aren't emotionally available, it leaves us vulnerable, right? Because she's the one that says, okay, it's good to talk to this person, it's good to do this. And she kind of helps us to gauge our own emotions. She helps us to develop our own internal GPS, where we should go, how we should feel, what's appropriate for our culture, what's appropriate for a woman of your age. So she gives us this information consciously and subconsciously, right? She also tells us about, instills us our sense of confidence. Like, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can achieve that. Yeah, you can get that done on an emotional level where you feel it embodied inside of yourself. So when the mother is emotionally absent, we don't get any of that. We don't get any type of emotional guidance or boundaries, or what's good for us to do, what's not good for us to do, what relationships, how to discern opportunities, how to discern what's really good for me on the inside, how to know yourself, right? Because she's not teaching, is not reflecting you she's not teaching how to know yourself. So when you in a situation, you don't know how to feel about it because she ain't teach you how to know yourself. So how do I know about this job? How do I know about this relationship if I really don't know myself emotionally? So then you feel unsafe because you don't have anything to grab onto. You don't have a emotional foundation to go back to and say, okay, this is what I stand on. This is me. Now everything has to see how this lines up. How does this fit within my world of who I am? If that makes any sense. I know it's kind of abstract a little bit, so I'm trying to put it into
no, it helps. Yes.
So when we don't have that gauge, we don't have that GPS, we don't have that emotional mapping. When we navigate this world, there's so many traps, there's so many things that could happen. And so we don't feel safe because we see this person did it and they fell through the loop. This person, well, you're not that person, but you don't know exactly who you are 100%. So you're not sure.
Right.
And so it's always that vacillating. It's like the jump and go. I'm not sure because that foundation hasn't been properly laid for you, if that makes any sense.
Right. And so now I'm left to trying to learn how to build my own foundation, pretty much reparenting. And it's been a very interesting journey, and it's been difficult because sometimes I don't know what to do, and I'm like, okay,
absolutely,
what steps should I take? And I do push myself, but my anxiety shoots through the roof. Like sometimes I have to have a really good cry before I even push myself out there. It's completely out of my comfort zone.
Right.
But I don't want to stay there because it's unhealthy.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And so for Isha, what might be helpful to you, which I'll talk about later, but since we're talking about it now, let's just flow with it. I don't know your spiritual practice or what you subscribe to, but if you work with your most elevated and evolved ancestors, now people say work with the ancestors. I disagree. I say you just don't work with any ancestors because not everybody healed. Not everybody got their stuff together. And if they was terrible on this side, on the other side, they're going to be horrible. Do not involve them. They will mess up your shit. I promise you, it will happen. I'm telling you. So you call on your most elevated and evolved ancestors, those who really love you, those who just have that wisdom and that who guide you. Call on your guardian angels. Call on your animal totems, your animal spirits. Call on the spirit of the land that is supporting you. These are benevolent, loving energies that are not going to steer you wrong. They are not. Start to develop that relationship and allow them to help you to reparent yourself. Allow them to know yourself because they're connected with you, not just in this lifetime, but in plenty of lifetimes before. So they know your energy in and out. So when we don't have that, whatever, and this applies to everything that we didn't get from our mothers, we can get in contact with the spirit. I'm going to show you how to do that to help us navigate so that our anxiety is not through the roof, that we can sleep, we can enjoy our lives, and we can move and navigate through this world with greater confidence, greater power, and greater ease. So whatever our mother was in any of the slides we're talking about, like you said, something very important, reparenting. You had to find out you have to reparent yourself. Yeah, but now you get to reparent yourself with some good help. You ain't dealing with no jealousy. You're not dealing with no absentee. You're not dealing with no alcoholic mother. You're building your life with some good help that's always going to be with you. This is something I had to learn to tap into, and to also to trust that they're not going to hurt me or harm me as if my mother did. So it's layers to developing that. But if you're interested, that is something that can really, really, really be a game changer for you and for everybody. Is tapping into your highest self, which I'm going to show you how to do, and let that mother you because it can.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime, y'all can just raise your hand and we'll stop and answer that question. So thank you. That's a beautiful point. That's so, so good. So juicy. I love it. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about, let's see, the physically, emotionally, and verbally abusive mother. This one kind of layers as well. This mother is sometimes withdrawal or withholding of affection to control, often blames or do some scapegoating tactics, which are very violent. The silent treatment, which is very violent. Things of this type is sometimes normalized in our culture, the silent treatment and doing this and doing that, but it's not normal. It's very, very, very harmful, especially to young children. Uses threats or intimidation. And sometimes culturally, we accept a certain level of violence when it comes to children. But as we grow older, we realize that that ain't necessary. Michelle talks about how she chooses not to spank her children. And I'm not telling nobody what to do with their children, but there's other way of parenting and other way of discipline that are less violent. This mother's often undermining, physically harmful, like actually like very, very harmful, physically manipulative, and maybe doing some name calling or telling lies, trying to destroy your reputation. These are all ways of abuse that can show up. And there's so many others, but these are just some ways I wanted to highlight where they can show up in our lives. This has an impact. Naturally, low self-esteem, anxiety and depression, anger and resentment. I want to say something quickly about anger. Again, I talked about it earlier being an emotion that teaches us that a boundary has been violated. But anger too long in the body can show up in your liver. The liver has over 500 functions of the body, including the hormones, cleaning, detoxification, working with the gallbladder, regulating how your food is broken down, all kinds of things. Sometimes when anger is prolonged in the body, you can have liver issues. If you look at your eyes and they look kind of yellow, or the palms of your hand and the bottom of your feet and it's kind of yellow-like, you're not eliminating as regularly, you just feel sluggish. 10 times out of 10, there might be an issue with the liver. But if we take a step forward, or I should say more deeper, we can see that there could be some suppressed anger that is living in the liver. So people with liver disease, or there's different types of liver disease. There's some that's alcoholic and one that's non-alcoholic. I actually had non-alcoholic liver disease due to my resentment and anger towards my mother. Once I started to address it and look at it, it wasn't because what I was eating. A lot of these issues, diabetes, I'm gonna talk about diabetes in a minute, because that's something that people really need to know what that is. It's because I was really angry at my mother. Once I started to address my anger issues with her, the liver disease just went away. When we see things like diabetes, people say, oh, it's because you're eating too much sugar. There's too much sugar in the blood. That's what the medical model would tell you. But in our culture, we know that persons that have blood sugar issues have an issue regulating sweetness in their life, looking for comfort, right? Everybody needs comfort. Everybody needs sweetness. And sometimes when we don't get it from our mothers or those who mother us, our body's going to reach for it in some other place. So it may be in sugary foods. It may be high carb foods. And so sometimes when people say, you know, I can't lose the weight here, can't lose the weight here, I look at their bodies and see where they're holding that energy. And sometimes it's because they don't know how to comfort themselves. They don't know how to receive comfort. They don't know how to receive or experience sweetness in their lives. So the body's trying to get it, and we're trying to give it to it, but it's a form that is not always the healthiest form for us. It's an energy behind it that really wants the attention. So I just wanted to stop there because those are some things I see a lot of my practice with anger and sugar, and high blood pressure is another one. It's always an energy. A lot of times it points to the mother wound in some ways. Disempowerment. We also see poor boundaries that show up, poor physical health. We just talked about that. Gynecological issues, sometimes deal with throat chakra issues, violation, family, money, show up in the root chakra. Fibroids, they say 80% of African-American women have fibroids. Root chakra, family issue, 100%. Mother wound, 100%. 100%. Most of these fibroids can be gone if we work with this mother wound. I've seen it here in our practice here in Mexico too many times. We talked about finances and relationship. That's impacted here as well. Emotional and spiritual imbalances. Be mindful if your mother has, like, you know, maybe she might be kind of spiritual, or she may have some spiritual superpowers. Sometimes there's some abuses that go along on a spiritual level that she may inflict upon the child. Every time a mother says something, you're no good, you're dumb, you're stupid, this is what I cancel, obviously. What she is doing is actually casting a spell. Casting a spell. because spells are created through our words. She's programming you. You're this, you're no good, you know that, and you're a child, so you're taking it all in. But it is a spell. It's nothing short than a spell that she's speaking over you. You're taking it in, and now you're embodying it. What do they do when we cast spells on people? Well, not we, because I don't cast no spells except for love spells, like self-love spells. FYI, I want to be clear on that. We are projecting an energy to get a particular output. So when she says things or she does things, it is programming you. It is putting it into you as a child. And then it's a spell. You'll never amount to nothing. No one would ever want you. And we carry that just like the apps on our phone in the back of our mind. And so our relationships are messed up. Our finances are messed up because of the spell. I originally was going to call this course Breaking the Curse of the Mother Wound, but I thought it was too strong. But truly, our mothers, they can cast a beautiful, loving spell that can support us and we can grow and thrive. Or they can cast another spell that can really make it very difficult for us. Not intentionally, or sometimes intentionally, but these things are all spells. And I put it in that context because spells can be broken. Curses can be broken. That's why I put it in this context, but indeed it is a spell. Michelle, yes.
So you were mentioning like certain things that affect your body. So I have a question because my memory is shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's because I'm a mother of two. And I'm always doing, like my friend, she told me, she said, you don't even have a job. Why are you always so busy? I'm like, I don't know. So half the time I don't remember half of the things, I'll write it in my calendar, but my memory is just shot. Like I can't remember, like me and my cousin would have a conversation. She'd be like, you remember? I'd be like, I don't remember everything, but I feel like I remember the important parts with some people. My cousin be like, you saw this person before. I don't remember them.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know if memory or if I just suck at my memory.
No, not at all. When did this start? When did this start for you that you can remember, like, my memory is a little bad? When can you remember that?
Well, I became a mother at 25.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say probably around that time, like a little after I had my first daughter.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think just juggling everything because I was a single mother with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
Okay,
got
so
my first apartment with her when she was about 4. So
was there by any chance a lot of stress? Well, you said single mother, of course, naturally that can come around with a lot of stress and maybe some trauma and relationship things that was going on during that time frame, maybe.
no, I don't care for her father, but that was since she was small.
Mm-hmm. What
Yeah.
about your mother? Has she passed through the same thing? Do you know?
My mother was just telling me today that I have terrible memory. Like she has better memory than me. And she's like, she'll be 70 next year.
Okay. Okay. Do you think a lot? You do a lot of thinking, planning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. I have to
Okay.
everything. Like I feel like I literally do everything,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it could be, especially after having a child. After I had my son, my memory went really bad too.
Yes, it was
It
terrible.
could be, yeah, no, it's true. It could be in your case that maybe the overthinking, the overdoing, like a computer that can overheat and start
Yeah.
eventually it'll start to kind of like not function properly. It could be that maybe you just have to cool down for a little bit. You may need to do you can cleanse your head with like coconut water, a little Florida water, and some salt. Blend that, not, or you can use coconut milk too. Blend that together and bless your head. I am at peace. My thoughts are clear. I am relaxed. You can take some soursop leaf. I feel like soursop leaf will be really good to restore your nervous system. Soursop, we're going to talk about that in a minute, is really great for any PTSD and stress and trauma done to the nervous system due to trauma. Something happened, and things that having a childbirth is trauma. That's why there's
Yeah.
ceremonies to put the mom back together. You may have some openings in your auric field where maybe some of your energy is just leaking through living in life. May not be mother, will just be living in life. It could be something in the past life, but it would serve you if you haven't already start doing spiritual baths to minimize things that stimulate you. So maybe at a certain time there's no electronics on, or maybe when you first get up, you have like 15 minutes to yourself before the baby, before everyone else gets up, for you to feel into your energy. Feel like what does Michelle want to do today? How she want to feel? How she want to move throughout, right? Before you think about everybody else, feel into your own self. That might be helpful. But some herbs will help you. Ginkgo biloba is another one.
I heard about that.
Go-to cola is excellent. I highly
I'm
recommend
gonna write
go-to
this
cola and
down.
soursop for you. That helps to
I'm writing
restore
it
the
down.
mind. Yes, it helps to restore the mind. It helps. So our nerves have endings on them called synapses. And through stress, trauma, overthinking, these synapses actually what nerves use to communicate to each other. So they can, you know, you can raise your hand, you can move forward, your eyes. They're the communication that goes between these two nerves. Sometimes the endings of these nerves get damaged through overthinking, overdoing, overstimulation, surgery, drinking, whatever, life, whatever. So these herbs help to regenerate these endings here so that you can think clearly, you can feel better, deals with everything feeling, thinking, nervous system wise. So soursop leaf, which we'll talk about, go-to cola would be the second one. I would definitely recommend you research them, look it up.
Would you mind writing that in the chat? Because I don't know how the other two are spelled other than soursop leaves.
Okay. Go-to
Please.
cola. Yeah, sure. Ginkgo. Okay. So yeah, start with those, start looking into those. Those are very mild. They generally don't have any contraindication, meaning like you have to have certain conditions for you to take it. Very good. Oils might be good. So coconut oil might be good for you to take. A tablespoon of coconut oil is really good for the brain. Fats, natural fats are really good for the brain. So coconut oil and raw, extra virgin, unprocessed, as raw as you can get it, as raw as you can get your coconut oil. I'm going to put that in the chat too so everyone else can see. So like unprocessed, you want it to smell like coconut. You don't want it to be refined. So 1 tablespoon. Yeah. Okay. So that's good. And sea moss. Sea moss is really good. Sea moss has so many. I know everyone talks about it with Dr. Sebi. It is a craze, but it's actually some good sea moss really help to restore and nourish your nervous system, your mind, your body, and just find ways to kind of tap out from everything twice a day, in the morning and at night, especially at night, because at night is where you release all the energy you've accumulated throughout the day. So your nighttime ritual, Michelle, becomes important. What do you want to release? What do you want to let go of? Because when you go to sleep, it's your subconscious mind starts to work. So if we're worrying about this, we're worried about that in our sleep, now that into our spirit, because that's when we go into our subconscious mind. So it'd be good, and this is for everyone who have busy lives and stressful and just got stuff going on. Before you go to bed, put in a PM ritual that does not include electronics. It could be stretching, journaling, drinking tea, saying a prayer, extra, whatever. It's just you and your oversoul to release all of the energy you picked up from the day, because all throughout the day, you're picking up energy from what you see. You're eating through your eyes, you're eating through your nose, your mouth, you're touching, you're you're taking in so much information, some that you're aware of, but 90% of it you're not aware of. So we want to release ourselves from that. That's this person's issue. This person can't pay their rent. They got nothing to do with me. Take it back. This person's car broke down. Ain't got nothing to do with me. My car working. Take it back. But energetically giving everybody back their energy so you have your own and your insides are not kind of like working overtime. So, and you can also implant intentions. I want to wake up feeling healthy. I want to feel energized. I want more money. And take that and you give it to your spirit team while you're sleeping and let them work for you. So you don't have to do the work. You don't have to do the work. You just have to set the intentions, create the environment, and let spirit do it for you. I know that's a little much, but I want to share that. Sorry, y'all. So hopefully that's helpful to you and many others as well. I try to stay to the subject.
Yeah, absolutely. My anxiety is always worse when I'm trying to go to sleep at night. So I love that suggestion. And I don't even have kids. So Michelle, I can't even imagine you got 2 kids. So
absolutely. So try it, Helen, and let us know. Trust me, you're going to feel a difference like immediately. You may want to burn if throughout your house. Okay, I'm going to give you some spiritual hygiene things to help you even while you're healing mother wounds. If you can get some copal, it's COPAL. It's like a resin, like a frankincense resin. If you can get some copal and burn it throughout your house, copal is good. Sage is good, but copal is like the next level of like clearing energy. And put the copal and pass it over yourself. I declare my mind is clear and is free, and I am relaxed, and my heart, I am free for anything that's in my heart. I am full of self-love. Do your front and try to do your back as best you can with the Kopal. Just do it all over your body. Walk through your house. If you have family members, children, animals, put the Kopal and pray positive affirmations over them. You are immediately going to feel a difference in your energy. Immediately. So these things that you can do daily as part of your daily ritual, weekly rituals, there's so much we can do by ritual, that can help with your everyday energy, so you can sleep good, have your memory back, and really come to live the life you came to live. So Kopal is something I recommend that you work with. That's another wonderful tool.
I do that with sage. Is that fine?
Yes, it's fine with sage. Kopal is it's the next level though. Like Kopal. So I'll give you an example, Darlene. Like when we do ritual and ceremony, like Temazcal, or we're doing plant medicine, we work with Kopal because it works on like more denser energies. So like if there's a sense of like exorcism or something, we all call on Kopal. And by the way, we're all have spirits within us. I'm not saying that, it's a bad thing, but Kopal is really good for really cleaning the energy. Sage is great. Kopal is the next level.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You pick Kopal.
I definitely need to come to Mexico, because my mother womb is I need some serious healing, because my mother was all of these things.
Mm.
Now, growing up, I was.
You're breaking up. Is she breaking up for anyone else, or is it just me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Maybe when I'm have it on the stand. So I experienced physical and emotional abuse from my mother growing up. I'm an only child, and my father I didn't have a father growing up, and my mother resented my presence. She actually would say it, that her life would be better if I wasn't there. But in experiencing the abuse, but also being silenced, you know how when they say that your body protects you if you're not able to handle something? So there was a blockage from until I was in my mid-30s, and then I started experiencing like panic and anxiety attacks after my mother visited. And like, she rarely visited. She came this one day, and I didn't know what panic and anxiety attacks were. I didn't know. I thought I was having a heart attack. I didn't know what was going on. And it wasn't until around that time I started having like flashbacks. I started remembering a lot of the abuse. Now, the thing with my mother is, when I brought it to her attention, she admitted everything. She never denied anything that she did to me. And obviously, as an adult, the physical abuse stopped, but the emotional abuse continued. And do you think it can impact? I know you said the liver. I struggle with like digestive and gastrointestinal issues, and I'm wondering if that can somehow cause blockages in that area as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Well, I want to say this. My heart goes out to you and everyone, and thank you so much for sharing your stories. And my heart and my love goes to every single one of you. So thank you. I want to say that. Thank you so much. To answer your question, absolutely. The solar plexus, or our stomach or intestinal, is where we hold all of our emotions. All of fear, anxiety, when the kids go to school, oh, mommy, my tummy hurts, it's usually some type of anxiety. All of our emotions are in our solar plexus. One of the healing therapies we do here is actually rearranging the intestine.
Wow.
So the energy is meant to release the anxiety, the fear, so that the life source can flow. So absolutely, if you had a mother that was extremely abusive and you felt anxiety, you felt stress, you couldn't express your emotions, it got to go somewhere. For most people, it goes straight into their intestines. Digestion is sometimes an issue depending on how it shows up. If you're not able to digest what's going on, you're not able to break down energetically what's being processed. So you may have diarrhea or constipation if you don't know how to release what's going on. So all of that definitely is something to look at. And our core is so, well, it's our core. So it's so essential to how we navigate and how we feel. And so you may be feeling things that are not yours because you have layers maybe of trauma or misalignment. So you're not even able to feel the way you truly need to feel in this world because it just needs a little help. So we do therapies here to physically align the organs, but also energetically cleanse it so that the chi energy, the life energy can feel better. So absolutely, we see that is actually probably like 90% we also see in all of our clients here, gastrointestinal issues.
And thank you so much. That's so interesting. But I definitely need to find my way to the Yucatán. And that's actually honestly how I found you, through Move Abroad and Thrive.
Oh, yes, awesome. Cortez, yes.
Yeah, he was actually helping me. My mother now has dementia. And I was trying to find a placement for her, and Cortez was helping me with that.
Nice. Oh, I love how everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
You was helping mother, but she was really helping you.
Exactly. I love it.
I love it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And if I just want to make a note here, if any chance, I realize we're like an hour and a half into this presentation, which feels like 5 minutes to me. But if you have to take a break, stretch, fine. I don't want to break the energy. This is going to be recorded. So I want to honor your body. I want you to honor your body and what you need to do. If you got to go and come back, that's fine. So I just want to say that so you can feel comfortable. Okay. Next, we want to talk about the narcissistic mother. She shows up in so many ways. She sees you as an extension of her. So you don't have any rights. You don't have anything. You are an extension of her. There's a sense of control over your body, sense of control of your being vicarious, of her being vicariously through you, if that makes any sense. She is unable to accept criticism, obsessed with maintaining appearances. So if she's a part of a social club or a church, she'll be one way when she's with her friends. When we get home, she's a spawn of Satan. So that could be a way that mother shows up, right? She gaslights you, makes you feel like you're going crazy. Like, no, I didn't do that, girl. You crazy. This is not what happened. When you know that you know that you know, that's how it went down. So that gaslighting mother is very, very much connected to that narcissistic behavior. She's always the victim. She never does anything wrong. Woe is me. This is what this person has done to me, and how can you do this to me? I'm your mother. Although she's wreaking havoc in your life, and sometimes she shows up with multiple personalities. She can be one person one day in front of these people, somebody else time, and the conditions that suit her. This is definitely something that's reflective of the culture. We live in a narcissistic culture, very much controlling and belittling and gaslighting. And a lot of times you'll find mothers take on these attributes as well. So what does it look like for us? We look like we blame ourselves for everything that goes wrong. If somebody's tire bust on the side of the road, somehow in our hearts, we feel like just us being there, that we did something. Poor emotional intelligence, not able to discern sometimes what is of us and of our energy or of someone else. Highly in tune to other people's emotions, almost as your emotions and your thoughts don't exist. Very attuned to what this person needs or what they might be thinking and trying to get ahead of that energy. Poor boundaries, not knowing how to set boundaries for yourself, because boundaries from a narcissistic mother, she's just going to override everything all the time. You have the need to feel like you need to cater to others, to keep them happy, to keep them, not rock the boat too much. And sometimes we do that at our own detriment. Feeling of powerlessness, difficulty finding value in yourself because it puts the attention on her. So you never see yourself, you never know yourself, you never get the spotlight from your mother. So it causes some issues there as well. And lack of self-empathy, self-compassion. The narcissistic mother is all about her. It's all about the way she sees it. So sometimes when, you're just living life, it requires a great deal of empathy, but she doesn't give it to us. So where do we learn it? We don't sometimes, and we lack it within ourselves. But we can learn it because we're taking this class, and we're going to learn how to overcome all of that. Then we have the absent mother. This is a physical absence due to adoption, illness, abandonment, death, divorce or separation, sometimes work or employment. In my case, it was work and employment. My mom, she just worked, I don't know, forever. She's Jamaican. She just always worked. So she was never there. But it can cause some issues. Looking at issues of attachment in relationship, being able to attach to be close or detach, don't want to get too close to someone in fear that they're going to leave us, in fear of abandonment. Learning how to regulate ourselves in highly stressful situations or other situations that we're not sure of. Of course, low self-esteem. Our mother gives us our confidence. She's our everything. So when she's not there physically, it does something to our self-esteem, because who's going to teach us who we are? Who's going to give us our identity? Chaotic or high drama relationships. This shows up because sometimes we crave an emotionally intense experience. And sometimes we create that through creating chaos in our relationships. We don't know why we're doing it. We don't know why we're fussing, but we're trying to get that emotional attachment, emotional uprise within us, to have that feeling that we didn't get from our mother, if that makes any sense. It's not a healthy one, but it's an experience that we subconsciously seek. Avoiding relationships or intimacy because of that fear of abandonment or loss. Or sometimes we see heavy codependent when we're overly attached and we're so fear, we want to hold on so tight because we don't want this person to leave us like our mother left us. We can also see that we have a pattern of repeating the maternal absence where we are actually physically separated from our children for one way, shape, or another. It can come up as well. It can also show up as addictions. Addictions because we're craving that sweetness, we're craving that comfort, food, drugs, alcohol, sex, work, sleep. Anything could be an addiction, y'all. Anything could be an addiction, including work, sleeping, negative thinking. All this can be addictions. All right, so now we're going to get to some of these solutions. Now we're going to talk a little bit about some herbs, just really briefly. We did talk about one that are healing, just 3. One that we call Search My Heart, which I love so much. It's not found in the United States. It's grown throughout the Caribbean. And it's just like how the image you see there, it's kind of feathery, it's soft. It's really good for issues of the heart, of forgiveness, self-love, self-comfort, anxiety. It's great for children. Children can take it. It has a mild taste to it, but it's great for sadness. It's great for grief. It's great for heartache, sense of loss, some of the things that we've talked about. Anything doing with the heart and mothering, you can use Search My Heart. I love it. I added with another one you might want to look at. Motherwort is another herb that's really good. Rose is another one that's really good. These are herbs that you can most likely find in the United States. Motherwort, rose is really good. And they all blend well with Search My Heart. Also good for digestive issues. So, Darlene, this might be a good one for you. Opening the heart helps you with being able to learn how to receive the gentleness, feminine energy. Search My Heart is really good. You can use it in candle magic. You can use it in a spiritual bath. All these herbs you can use in a spiritual bath, candle magic, take it as a tea, put it on your body, make an oil. It can be used in all applications, internally and externally. The next one we have is Jamaican vervain. We call it vervain. It's a great blood purifier. It's great for the nervous system. Michelle, relaxing. It helps to allow feminine energy to properly flow through your body. It helps in that flow in your life. Those of you who have spiritual gifts, psychic connection is great for that. Spiritual growth, fertility or infertility issues, confidence, sexual health, sexuality, which deals with creativity, and also good for spiritual protection. We use this a lot in our fertility blends and issues with women giving birth and postpartum as well, because it's very mothering. Michelle, yes, you have a question.
Sorry, excuse me. When I looked up, it said headaches. This is probably one of the reasons I get headaches. But I'm definitely gonna look for this plant because my headaches be crazy. I get tension headaches. I get a headache,
Tensions.
and I'll have it for like a week straight sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, get that. One time I had to go to the hospital. Why you bite? Don't bite. Hospital, and they had to give me like an injection. Everything. My headache was so bad that even when I touched my head, it was hurting.
Wow. Yeah, Michelle, it
Come get your
might be
kid.
helpful really. I don't know your spiritual path. what your spiritual path might be, but you may need to do some head work to protect your mind as well. These herbs will be very, very helpful.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. There you go. There you go. These herbs can be very helpful for overthinking and over activity of the mind. And even if you're going out, you may want to cover your head with something white, never anything dark. Just something white just to protect your mind. Those herbs we mentioned will be good. This one would definitely be good. But definitely, I feel like maybe some practices like the ritual, the PM ritual will be helpful. Find a way to decompress on a daily basis and even in the middle of the day. Maybe at lunchtime when everyone's taking a nap. Just like, okay, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to open the window, I'm going to journal.
It's funny to me because I'm a very nonchalant person. I rarely let things bother me. So for me to be the person that always have a headache or is overstimulated, it's funny because my cousin tell me, she's like, she tell me I'm a man. She's like, you have no emotions, you don't cry, you don't like, because I say you're just overly emotional. Because I'm very nonchalant. We'll get the same news and I'll be like, okay. And she's there crying. So for me to be the person that have the headaches and everything else is weird because I don't care about so many things. I honestly just don't care about nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
But your body is telling you that something is still out of alignment. Whenever we have pain, we have something going on. Although they may not register to us consciously, but our body registers everything. You stub your toe, your body gonna remember that till you die. Your body remembers everything. So there's something that your body is remembering that's saying, hey, we need attention. We're gonna give you this headache, so you can kind of look around and see what's out of alignment that you need. But your body's telling you something, even if your conscious mind isn't. You're welcome. I see you have your hands full. It's okay. Just chime in any way you can get in is absolutely fine. I know sometimes you got to tend to our children, so you do what you got to do. So the verbine, look for that one. You might be able to find it if you're in Brooklyn, New York, in a Jamaican shop or something, because this is a Caribbean herb. They may could be able to get your hands on rather quickly. Next, we have the soursop leaf. I recommend this, and this is good even for children. My son is very hyperactive. He has a lot of energy. And as I'm speaking, he comes up here right now. And excuse me. Okay. Excuse me, everybody. Okay. And so sorry. I do apologize, family. There you go, baby. And so for children who are hyperactive, who have a lot of energy, make them some soursop tea. Cool their nervous system down. It's good for cancer. It's good for tumors, anything that grows abnormally in the body. It will take care of it while leaving the healthy cells intact. It's also good for nursing mothers to get more breast milk. It's good for stomach ailments. So, darling, this will be a good one for you as well. Yeast overgrowth, postpartum, hypertension, stress. Very, very good for sleeplessness. If you have, you want to work with it metaphysically, it's good for strengthening your overall aura. You can do a spiritual bath with all these herbs as well. It's good for opening your heart, general healing protection. You see everything there. Soursop is one that I think everybody needs in their apothecary. It has so many uses and pretty much take it. So now we're going to look at, so there are no questions. Michelle, do you still have a question? I see your hand is still raised. No? Okay, no, I just want to make sure I didn't miss you. Okay, all right. 7 steps to healing mother wounds. Really quickly, these are steps that I implement myself, and I recommend you consider them as well. First is the awareness. That's why we talk so much about this mother wound, because we're not aware sometimes of how it impacts. When you are aware of something in our culture, that is the first step to healing it, is to create an awareness. What is going on? Oh, there is something wrong. Let me do something about it. So first is just the awareness. Second, it's important you tell your story. Y'all, we got to talk about it. I know we're running over time a little bit. Well, not really. I still got some time. But we got to talk about these things, because when we talk about it, it allows us to be witnessed. And when someone else is able to witness, either through therapy or you writing it down, it can accelerate your healing process. That's why journaling is really important. That's why therapy can be really important. You have to be witnessed, but you have to tell your story. Darlene, you got to activate that throat chakra and tell it. Write it. Even if you write it and you burn it, that's fine. Get it out. So it's not in here and it's not working your body, and it's out on the outside. And keep pulling it out. Pulling it out as often as you can. Uh-oh. You said something, Darlene?
I do journal, and
You
do
said something.
Oh, sorry. I do journal, and I saw it on Oprah a long time ago about writing stuff down and then burning it. And so it's not nice that you mentioned that.
Yes, yes. And when you burn something, you use the element of fire, and that transmute means that it changes the energy. So any bad feeling or any nasty things that come up or things that are undesirable, that's okay. Write it down, burn it, and let it go. And keep doing it until you just need to be doing it. Shoot. That's what you can do. Third is compassion, self-compassion for yourself. A lot of times we're so hard because our mother's been so hard on us. We don't know how to be compassionate with ourselves. So, if you make a mistake, it's okay. If you drop something on the floor, or you overspend, or you overate, and who cares? Hug yourself. Look yourself in the mirror every day and say, I love you. I love you. Say your name. First, it's going to be hard. And if it's hard, that means there's some work that needs to be done. That means you need to do it. Every day, spend 30 seconds and say your name. I love you, Sankara. I love you, Yaya. I love you, Michelle. I love you, Helen. I love you in the eye while you're saying it. This will help to foster the reparenting spirit that you're looking for. Just know that everything that happened to you were a child. Although our parents said we were grown at 8 and 9, 10 years old, we were not. The brain does not fully develop to about 30 years old, truthfully. But you were a child. So allow yourself to feel like an innocent child as you're going through this process and offer yourself the gift of self-compassion. Now, boundary setting. This is very good for your protection, but it also helps you to get your power back. Boundaries are like putting a dam up on a river. It stops the energy from leaking out. So if you're feeling tired, frustrated, your money ain't working, your relationship's jacked up, could be draining your personal power, you put a boundary up, but it also pulls in, it keeps your energy in for you. It also draws it back in for yourself. So what would be the mother wound could be taking energy from your finances. You put a boundary up energetically, like, okay, I'm not going to talk to my mother, let her talk to me this way, or I'm going to go no contact, or I'm going to, whatever your boundary is for your personal protection and for your personal power. First, they don't feel good because you're not used to doing it. Your energy hasn't been trained for that boundary. But after you train it for a while, it gets easier. So set your boundaries. Third, use rituals to help to reprogram your energy, to end cycles, invite change, and bring in pure, good, loving intentions. And I'm going to show you one in just a moment. Rituals are used in Indigenous societies all the time for issues such as this: mother wounds, father wounds, death, rebirth, whatever, graduation. You do this because you want to reprogram your energy to the intention of what you want it to do, to serve you, to have more joy, to have more peace. So use rituals every day, all the time, because they are very helpful. Communicating with your highest self, communicating with whatever deity, that is you consider to be God or the ancestors, whatever you feel connected to is helpful because they can help you. I'm telling you, I've been excommunicated from my family, no contact for over 7, 8 years, and they have been my family. They have been the one to provide for me as if I had physical family. So I'm telling you, it really, really works, and they're really, really helpful, and they love you. Also, you want to consider number 7, detoxing your life. Anything that no longer serves you, relationships, I don't care if it's something that you've been connected to for all of your life. If as on this journey, you find out that it does not serve you, and I mean does not serve you, it has got to go. Because as you change your energy, everything around you will change, including your relationships, including everything. So don't be afraid to detox. Don't be afraid to let go relationships or things that you've held on for so long, because it is part of the healing journey. Everything in life changes. Last but not least, we have the connection to the Divine Mother that lives inside of us and all of us. She is not like the mother we had. She, in many cases, is the opposite. She's loving, caring, compassionate. And a lot of us haven't even had that physical experience, maybe with women in this realm. But there is an energy that wants to connect with you to help you to mother yourself. It's not a physical energy, although it may come physically, but it's a spiritual energy. And it took me a while to connect to this energy because my mother wounded relation was so deep. Like, how can you be compassionate, loving, forgiving? Like, what? But it was a time of developing this feminine energy. Some people call her different things in different cultures, but connecting to a divine mother inside of you is very, very important for healing this mother wound. Very, very important, because she can heal everything and make everything brand new. And she's not like the mother we had. She's amazing. I'm here to tell you. So those are some things that you can work with. Now I want to share with you in this moment a ritual. Very simple. The instructions are on the screen. All you need is a 7-day candle, a pink one here. This is actually red, but I didn't have a pink, but it's a red. It's going to look like this in the glass. Then you're going to need a permanent marker, piece, white paper, notebook, a piece of your DNA, and a pencil or a pen. And some of the herbs that we talked about, or whatever herbs you have, 3 of them. Some of the herbs we talked about, or whatever you have. I don't want you to stress out about it. If you got them seasoning oregano, get that little seasoning oregano, pray over it, program it, bam, it's going to work. Promise you. So that's going to be your supply list. The next thing you're going to do when you are in a quiet place is prepare some tea with those herbs that you're going to use for the ritual, whatever 3 you choose. And then you're going to cleanse your candle from the bottom up. When you cleanse from the bottom up, you're going to do it in this motion, like this. Because it's something you are removing. So the base of the candle is facing you, and you're cleansing it up. You can cleanse it with salt water, Florida water, any type of spiritual water. You want to just cleanse your candles to remove any intention, cleanse the bottom, cleanse on the inside. Then you want to your candle, you want to take the, did it skip a, let me see. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we didn't skip anything. Then while you're sitting down, you want to write down on your piece of paper and your pencil, the emotions, the negative experiences you had with your mother. And a lot of you explained that during this call, but you want to write it down. Remember, you're taking it from your body and you're transferring it onto the paper. You want to do that. Everything. So take your time to do this. There's no rush. Think about from 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21. Take it in chunks and then write everything down. Then you want, after you write it down and you feel like your list is complete, or your list can say this: jealousy, envy, cancer, low self-esteem, depression, physical abuse, like all of those characteristics you want to write down on your paper. Then you want to transfer what you wrote on your paper, write it on your candle. Now you're going to write what you wrote here. You want to transfer it again onto your candle with your Sharpie, your permanent Sharpie. You can write long ways, write it around, write at the bottom. It doesn't matter. This is your candle. So after you filled your candle up, mine is drippy black, like covered in black. If you go on my Instagram page, you're going to see my candles up there, and they just always are covered. Then what you want to do is place a little bit of the herbal mixture inside of your candle, and then add in a piece of your DNA. This is essential. Your hair, your spit, your blood, eyelash, whatever, add it inside of this candle. Why? Because we're working with your energy. You're working with your spirit energy. You are doing it. No one else is doing it. You are doing it. Add it to your candle. So then after you do that, your candle is now dressed, what we call fixed dress. It's ready for the work. You want to hold your candle, and you want to start this ritual on a day and a time that you can do every day for 7 days. Every day for 7 days. So if 5 a.m. is the best time for you to do it for 7 days, you don't have a trip, you ain't gotta go here, you gotta do that. That's when you want to do it. Because what it's saying that you are serious about this thing, and you're meeting your spirit. You have an appointment with your spirit, and they're waiting to meet with you. So you want to sit down and do it at that time. You want to hold the candle in your hand or in a quiet place, and you want to call upon your oversoul, that part of you that is connected to the divine, no matter what, no matter where you at, no matter what happens. You want to call on divine light to heal the woundings that are listed on this candle. And you want to send love and light to yourself and also to your mother if you choose to. But mainly, this is for you. Remember, this ritual works 7 generations before you and after. So if you just do you, you good. You want to sit with that candle for at least 5 minutes. What you may notice, you might get some chill bumps. Something might drop on the floor. Something might happen. You're going to feel something. It's working. It's working. After you sit for at least 5 minutes and you feel like you're ready and your petition has been heard, You put your candle out, or you can keep it burning if you want to. It's up to you. If you do keep it burning, please put it in some water, some candle safety, because these can burn hot, especially when you are doing energetic work of this level. It can get really hot, and so sometimes the glass can break. That happens. That's happened to me. So I just want to tell you that. So you want to meet this candle, whatever time, for 7 days straight. On the last day, if you still have candle wax, let it burn through until it's finished. You may notice that your candle is black. That's very good. That's clearing out the negativity. You may notice it's black on one side, or that's wax on the other side. You can actually read the candle, the work that's done. After you are done with this candle, it's burnt out, put it in a paper bag and dispose of it outside of your home. Don't hold on to it. Don't keep it, because this is cleansing work. You don't want to keep it in your house. Just thank you, universe. Thank you, ancestors. The work is done. Discard of your candle. And so that is the ritual. Again, you would get this presentation to go through it. I have some testimonials on my Instagram page of people who've done it and gotten for themselves emotional breakthrough, financial breakthroughs within the week. So please, 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 please consider doing this. You can do this every month or every 3 months, minimum every 3 months. But if if the mother wounds are heavy, every month for spiritual hygiene, spiritual maintenance. There are 2 books I want to recommend that you look into. This one is Discovering the Inner Mother, A Guide to Healing the Mother Wound and Reclaiming Your Personal Power by Bethany Webster. Amazing book. Recommend you get it 10 out of 10. It helps you to see in more detail how this mother wound shows up, but also gives you steps and stuff that you can do to heal yourself. Amazing book on Amazon. I think it was less than $20. Amazing, amazing book. And I also recommend this book called Divine Mother Healing. This book is a book that I actually have here, and it helps you to how to soften, how to cut binding ties. Talking about spells, this tells you how to cast a spell on yourself to free yourself from the bondage of the mother wound, right? It shows you how to get into your heart, how to invoke the divine being of light to help you in your life, how to invite divine love, divine truth, divine sweetness. This book is very, very, very good. Very good. And it gives you a lot of tools and a lot of practices and prayers that you can use to help yourself emotionally to recover. This book here. I do recommend these 2 highly. And so that is it for tonight. That is what I wanted to share with you. My intentions were to help you to see that the mother wound is both a gift, and it's a wound, but it's also a gift. It's a marvelous journey to be on, and you're not alone. We are online. You can come to Mexico. We do personal retreats. We do group retreats. We do training. Hopefully next year we have some states. I'm coming to the States to teach more hands-on mother wound healing and exercises and ritual together and plant medicine from Mexico. I want to bring it there to help us to work even deeper. But I am here for you, and I have a team. Some people in the States and some people here as well, that we work together specifically with the inner child mother wound thing, because we see it as fundamental. But I really want to thank you for your time and for your energy, because as you heal, as you grow, as you move forward, I move forward. We move forward collectively. Just know you're not alone. Just know you can heal it. And you may not do it all in this lifetime. Who cares? But as long as you feel better and you feel good about your life, that's all that matters. Know that you can get your power back. I've gotten my power back, and I live the life I desire, but I never thought this was possible for me. I never thought I was going to be, never in a million years, because my mother wound sat on top of my vision and I couldn't see. But I'm grateful that I'm able to see, and I want to show you in any way that I can that you can do it no matter what or where you're at as well. Because the mother wound is a wound, but it's also a gift to you. And I want to thank you for your time and your intention and entertaining me as well, because I like to have fun. Thank you. If there are any questions, thoughts, I know we're a little bit over, but I'm willing to stay on to make sure I answer any and all questions that you may have.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing all of that. I'm looking forward to trying it. I've never tried anything remotely like this. I've done therapy and done other kinds of things, but I know that what you're saying is true, that, you know, the indigenous cultures, you know, had this wisdom and doing things like that. So I think I'm going to try it.
Try it, Helen. Yes, definitely try it. And if y'all on Instagram, follow me or send me a message on get to them testimonials and things of people who've tried it. Yeah, if sometimes we want something different and it hasn't worked, or we want to do something that hasn't, you know, we tried before, sometimes you gotta do something different, right? A lot of therapists, my friends, I give them this similar ritual to help their clients. They're like, yeah, how does it work? I was like, yeah, I know y'all got your stuff, but my ancestors, we got some stuff too. So it all works together, right? It all works together. But when we get to the energy, that really takes it to the next level, in addition to everything that you're already doing. So Helen, I'm so grateful you joined us. Thank you very much. Thank you for your light. Thank you. And I see you there. Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm filled with gratitude.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Darlene, and sharing your light. And I see your smile already. You're like, you lit up, like you lit up. And I love to see that energy. Yeah, take this with you. It's your gift, it's your birthright. And so thank you for answering the call. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your stories with us, because we're all learning and we're all growing with you. And you're welcome to come to Mexico for Healing Fun anytime. You're welcome.
I will be there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, thank you. Yes, Diana, did you want to say something? I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, I just want to second everyone's emotion. I'm so thankful as well. So it was like some things were confirmations for me, because I've been on this journey. As we spoke, I've been trying to heal, or I shouldn't say trying, I've been healing for years. And you mentioned some of the herbs that you mentioned, like motherwort and the vervain. I've been taking as a flower essence, actually. And I was wondering if you had a place that, or maybe online, where we could get soursop. It's hard to get here unless it's in a capsule.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I can I'll put in the email when I send the recording information. I can put where you can get that herb, where you can get the vervain. Generally we
Okay.
would carry it, but since the hurricane destroyed our house and everything 2 years ago, we our herbal supply has been and if I can't source it properly, I won't sell it, right?
Yeah.
And I do have 2 people that I do recommend, so I can put that in their follow-up email. So if
Okay,
you want to order
great.
these herbs, you can order directly to them.
Okay, awesome. And thank you, Yaya. Thank you, Sister Yaya, so much. I so appreciate you. Oh my goodness. Like I said, this is another level for me. You're taking me on another level, and I feel in my soul that this is the one to finally free some of this, or all of it, even.
Yes. Awesome. I'm grateful. You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. We have a lot of testimonies, y'all, and I'm not tooting my horn. I'm not. I promise you. A lot of receipts on people really getting free from that energy that has been suffocating their energy for a long time. And this is why I do these classes and I talk so much, because it really works. It really, really works. Yes. Yeah, so thank you. I love y'all. So if you have any other questions or anything, feel free to contact me here on Mexico. We are here to be of service to you. Thank you so much. Kindly give me till tomorrow to send up the follow-up email with the things we talked about and the recording, let it download and everything, if that's okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. May you continue to grow in love, grace, and ease. Y'all have a good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you do the same. Good night.
Well, thank you. Good night, everybody.